Very much. The answer to the question, are Ghanaians safe today, has to be viewed from two angles. First of all, do the statistics or facts on the ground require Ghanaians to feel safe or unsafe? And secondly, do Ghanaians actually feel safe? I would say that it then translates to what some people, or a debate bordering on perception and reality. But let me say this from the onset. If Ghanaians feel unsafe, whether the statistics show that they should be safe or not, it is a matter of concern, and we should treat it as reality for purposes of reacting and dealing with the problem.
Let's start with these statistics you referenced here.
The statistics from the police for the first part of the year have shown that compared to last year, there's been a fall. That notwithstanding, it is important what...
I'm interested. I want to say specifically, what does the figures say?
Well, the figures, it seems to me the figures says about a third fall. But like I said, that's the statistics.
Yes, and it's because I'm interested in these figures and what it really means to the people. That's what I'm actually asking for these figures.
Well, I'm not here to canvass Ghanaians on figures. I'm saying that although the statistics show otherwise, it is important what Ghanaians feel.
Okay, that point is relevant.
Because let me put it in context.
You are comparing to the previous year.
Yes.
In 2016, it was an election year. The evidence over the period shows that we always have all of the major crimes increasing in the election year. So can that be a basis for comparison?
I'm not even trying a comparison. You've asked whether the issue of fear, and I say the issue of fear has to be seen in two angles. The feeling of fear is enough.
Okay.
Because the present government, our government, set out in our manifesto to make Ghanaians feel safe. So we don't consider it adequate that statistics per se are falling. We would only achieve that when we make Ghanaians feel safe. As long as Ghanaians fear, then we haven't achieved it. So I was just putting my answer in context.
Okay.
That even if statistics show otherwise, our target, our goal, is to make Ghanaians have the feeling of safety and not to fear. And as long as Ghanaians fear is an important thing for us to deal with.
So first and foremost, beyond the statistics, how do you determine that, the perception of insecurity is high or low in this country?
Well, you determine it from what you hear. The media is one source of it, and you would hear it being said that people fear. Social media also is playing its part, and as far as I'm concerned, Mr. President and this government, we are interested in media that is active, and we prefer media activism and all its excesses to a gagged media. So as far as I'm concerned, while we might talk of challenges as to whether the media really truly reflects what is on the ground, we are convinced that it's a good beginning. That whatever the media says, we should take on board. And I've listened to knowledgeable people, experts in security, and I think that there is a considerable consensus that the feeling of fear exists. Even though the status quo might not be different, even though what is happening now might not be new, the important thing is that we haven't achieved so far the feeling of the average Ghanaian feeling safe.
Now let me understand this more importantly. You are learned. You know that the conception of the state itself is a couple of people or people giving up their control to a state first and foremost to protect them. Is the state under President Akufo-Addo failing in its utmost role of protecting the people?
No, the state is not failing in its role to protect the people. If you take mob action, for instance, mob action has existed in Ghana right from my childhood. You would go to a place and somebody shouts thief and people pounce. There were periods that when I was growing up, they would say that if you shook some hands, you lost your genitals. And a number of people raised alarms. People were beaten, some were killed because they felt that they had lost their genitals. And that is where I insist that the perception is important. Even though in the end, those people did not lose their genitals, they still went ahead to kill the people who were involved.
There are several theories people have given for defining and telling Ghanaians how we call ourselves hospitable, loving people, and sometimes commit crimes that are despicable, to say the least. What, in your own understanding, is the cause of the mob action that leads to lynching and its related ills?
Well, let me say that I also see the dichotomy. First of all, it is true that Ghanaians are hospitable. We are warm people. But it's equally true that we appear to have in our subconsciousness that latent, trait of going for instant justice.
What accounts for that?
First of all, I think it's in our psyche. For instance, the recent gruesome murder of Major Mahamas, and also last 2 days ago, we had a policeman who was riding a motorbike on his duty in Tema, who was shot by 2 armed people on another motorbike.
Yeah.
Those are all situations where we can say that it's either mob action or impunity. What we have to now find out is that what is the cause of that? I can only say that it is a trend that has existed, and we need to do something to stop it. So I think that
is there no study conducted by the ministry to find out, since it's been a long issue, which is not started yesterday or today?
Well, what we have done is that we have an open approach to this matter. We think that the security of this country is a collective one.
Okay.
We think that it's one that all Ghanaians should have a part to play. We think that we have brains, experts that we can bring in. We think civil society can be of help. We think that opinion leaders can be of help. We think the National Peace Council, you just name them, all of us have a part to play in this. NCCE will have to play a part in this. There appears to be a feeling that people want justice faster than it should be.
It sounds to me like 1979.
Well, 1979 has also played its role in all this.
No, but I mean, that's the same thinking. Let the blood flow.
Precisely.
People were demanding instant justice then. I mean, there's no difference between that action and what's happening now. Exactly what is still fueling the kind of thinking that regardless of the laws and the regulations and due process, people feel that they need to exert their own form of vengeance and justice.
I agree with you. I was a student at the time, and we all shouted, "Let the blood flow." We were impressed by instant justice. And that is what the point that I'm making, that the situation has always been the same. So, what do? I think that we need a study, and we are engaging experts, security experts.
Now?
Yes, we've had a meeting. We had a meeting yesterday at the National Security. We've got prominent security activists, civil society. We brought them together. We want to see what we can do about this situation. For our part, we are playing the role that we can play by trying to up the enforcement. And you can see that when the gruesome murder took place, the reaction was quite swift. Why was the reaction quite swift? We had useful information from the videos. We had useful information from the spontaneity in the country. So we went on, used the information we had. We could see who was holding the block in there. We saw who was holding the stick. We saw them use those implements. And therefore, you can see that the investigation has been very fast. And I think that we are way fast down the road. to getting, prosecution.
I'll come to the details of that, because some believe that it could have been faster. It could have prevented the military from going in first. The police could have started the investigation right from the beginning, and all of that would have been much more improved than what was later becoming a public clamor for justice for you to act. I mean, I'll come to the details of that.
Let me address that straight away, because we heard, when we got the information, we moved immediately. The police moved, and the military moved in a constructive manner.
Really?
It wasn't the soldiers who moved first. It was the leadership that moved. It was a high-powered delegation that was led by the army commander and the commander of Southern Command. They went out to the district, started from the district assembly, met the DCE and RESEC, and formally started from that level. Asked what had transpired.
Was it a suspended DC they met?
Yes, the suspended DC.
The man who said that the military man was there conducting illegal business?
Well, the suspended DC they met, and what he said was out of tune, and appropriate action has been taken.
He's been suspended, not sacked.
Yes. Again, there you go about instant justice. The basic principles of law is that you should be given a hearing. Natural justice requires that you should be given a hearing. But the same Ghanaian attitude is sack him. The law does not permit us to do so.
Does the law permit you to suspend a district chief executive?
It permits you to suspend a district executive so that you
Forgive me, which law are we talking about in this case?
Natural justice should give him a hearing. You say, why he's not sacked? Suspension is good for investigations to be completed.
And the suspension is based on which law?
The suspension is based on the law that if you are going to investigate, you let the person step aside from the office in order not to obstruct the investigation. But the ultimate sacking can only come when you have granted the person a hearing. And that's the basis. You see,
so you condemn
his
his language. I heard the vice president do so. It looks like in government, everybody condemns his language, but now you're investigating. Obviously, you didn't know whether what he was saying was true or not.
No, we knew that what he said wasn't true. But
you knew it wasn't true.
We knew that what he said was wrong, but we cannot.
There's a difference between being wrong and actually being factual. Was it factual?
Listen, it wasn't factual.
It wasn't factual?
It wasn't factual.
Yet he's still being investigated, or he's being taken to due process?
Well, let me explain. That's why I say that there are two principles we hear that are called natural justice.
Yeah.
And that is, before you give the ultimate punishment, you should give the person a hearing.
So which rule did he breach?
Which rule did he breach?
Did the district chief executive breach?
No. The district chief executive, what he did was wrong, but I'm explaining why we cannot sack him without giving him a hearing. So the president said suspended. He'll be given a hearing, and then the ultimate decision will be taken.
So I'm still asking myself, what did he do wrong then? Which rule in the Local Government Act, in the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, did the district chief executive breach?
No, that's not what you mean by he was met. He was part of what transpired. If he comes up to take a position that is against the position that we think should be taken at that time for justice to be done, he has done it wrong.
Oh, he opposed justice?
He opposed justice? What we are saying is that justice requires that if we find what you have said to be out of tune and to be wrong, we should suspend you, give you a hearing, and take the final decision.
Interesting. And I'm still waiting if you could tell me.
But you see, what you are doing now is actually exhibiting what the typical Ghanaian has. It should have been instant justice. The ultimate should have been done.
I've not said that. I've not said so.
Because you said
I have at no point in time.
You said, but not sacked.
Yes, so I'm actually explaining the difference.
Sacked.
No, I've no preference in this matter. I'm explaining that he's been suspended but not sacked.
Yes, not yet sacked, yes.
Yes, so that's the difference I wanted to put out there.
Yes.
That if government felt strongly about it, the action will be what? Suspension or sacking?
If government felt strongly, as we feel strongly about it, the procedure is to take a step and give the person a hearing.
Okay.
The suspension.
Has he been given a hearing?
At the end of the hearing, the president will come out.
Has he been given a hearing?
The hearing is ongoing.
Who is giving him the hearing?
Well, there's also a principle of law that when you have a situation where action is being taken, you don't prejudice it by coming out to say. Suffice it to say, he's been suspended, so given a hearing.
When will he be given a hearing?
Well,
because the people of this republic are interested in exactly what he said that was wrong, exactly what that particular wrong comment constitutes as a crime or as what something that can lead to his suspension, and what the repercussions of that particular suspension is supposed to be.
Wrong is a broader term than crime.
Okay.
Crime refers to wrongs that are stated by law to be crime.
Interesting.
But we all know that if you get up now and you put up behavior that is, for instance, if I come out and tell you good morning and I shove you, it's a wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. What I'm saying is that, suffice it to say, the context now is that if the government did not feel strongly about what he did, he wouldn't have been suspended.
Okay,
but now that he has been suspended, don't let us prejudice his hearing. He will be asked.
But you don't tell me when the hearing is happening.
When the hearing is happening?
Yes.
It's ongoing now.
Who is he before? Which grouping is interrogating him?
Well, there will be when the report comes up. You know what you are trying to do is.
Now, is there a team already? No. I want to know whether it's your office or the local government minister's office or the regional minister's office is the one doing the interrogation. That's what I want to know.
There are different levels of responsibility. One has to do with even the regional minister, who is the regional head.
Okay.
Then we have local government. When it comes to Ministry for the Interior, we are talking of the aspect that is criminal.
So is he being actually interrogated by all of these institutions?
The report that will come out will tell you.
Who is putting together this report?
We will let you know when it comes up. It's just like asking me when a case is ongoing.
I mean, it's a very simple thing for me to be told, because I know when a case is ongoing before court, the people who are involved, I know them. Why is it not possible for me to be told that this grouping is the one investigating or interrogating this particular DCE?
I told you the line of authority, that you will have first the region, you have second the Ministry of Local Government. As far as the Ministry of the Interior is concerned, we'll be looking at what he might have said and done that is criminal. We are doing that.
Okay.
It's ongoing. And then
you met him.
Ultimately, at the presidency,
you met him?
I would not meet him as a person.
The ministry has sent officials to meet him.
The institutions, the investigative institutions, the CID
police
is investigating.
The police is actually interrogating that.
It's investigating the whole episode.
And it includes what the DCE said?
It includes whatever is necessary to be included. At the end of the day, the report that will come out will show what is relevant and what will be part of the decision that will be taken.
More importantly, we understand that over 50 people have been rounded up in this particular investigation. Is that the latest number?
Yes, about that, yes.
Okay, so these people are all being interrogated in connection with the murder of Captain Ambrose Mahamas, right?
That is so.
Brilliant. We also understand that the wife is being interrogated. Is that true?
The wife is being interrogated.
Yes.
As to the events that took place in Denkyira DCE.
Is that what is happening?
I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware.
The police PRO spoke and said that the wife is also being interrogated. That's just yesterday.
Yes, but the wife will be asked how she feels. There are aspects of it that.
Okay, so the wife has not been invited to any police unit for interrogation. That's what's not the case.
There's not all investigation that demands that you go to police. Okay. Some investigation demands that you go to the respondent.
Specifically in this case, what is happening?
What is happening is under the auspices of the police, and it's not for me to interfere. At the end of the day,
you have not been briefed as to what's happening?
They are not supposed to brief me on a day-to-day basis as if I'm macro-managing them, but they are supposed to inform me that they are investigating.
Okay.
And the investigation will go on. First, in my culminating statement, the first one will be called a caution statement. And should they find special interest going forward towards the prosecution, it will take a charge statement. All that is ongoing now. At the end of the day, what would come out will be submitted to the Attorney General for advice moving forward.
Can the police and your very office interrogate the military high command on this matter too?
Yes.
You can?
Nobody's above the law.
You have done so?
They can interrogate me. Of course, in this investigation, they will talk to some military personnel. Did be.
Okay.
And I'm assuring you that no one is beyond investigation. the rule of law is no respecter of persons, and we would make sure that the right thing is there.
Can you get to the bottom of this matter?
The bottom of the matter can only be gotten to in a competent court of jurisdiction.
I get that.
And that will be allowed, left for the judiciary. In all these democratic arrangements, we must respect the rule of law. People have various rules. The investigator will investigate. At the end of it, submit to the Attorney General. Attorney General will come out with a position on it. If he's prosecuting, it will go before a court of competent jurisdiction. And the judiciary guard is independent. They would go through the trial. At the end of the day, come out with a judgment. And the judgment would be respected by the government, regardless of whether or not we agree. We would respect the judgment.
It's interesting you talk about the tapes and the people who are on the tapes being very good evidence. You use it, right?
Yes, it's part of the evidence that's being used.
That's very wonderful to note.